Good morning. This morning's crucifix is the one that was in the casket for my mother-in-law who died last year. I'm thankful now that she is not here now. She had pulmonary fibrosis, which was a lung disease, and this would have been a very upsetting, scary time. And I'm glad that we've got her in heaven because we need her help as well as others. And this morning's meditation, I was thinking about many of us may feel that we're in social isolation, and what can we do to impact other people? And there's a whole lot that we can do. I think of my Grandma O'Daniel, who lived in a 4-room house at the foothills of the Ozarks in southern Illinois. And she's probably my favorite person in childhood. She had an 8th grade education. She struggled to walk. That's why she didn't have more schooling than her sisters got. But oh, she was a smart lady. And she read, and she was pretty blunt, told people exactly what she thought. Just dial back my bluntness by 2,000%, and you got Grandma. One of the things that surprised me at her funeral was the people who came, whose lives she had impacted from that little 4-room house. And there were people who said, she tutored me so I could graduate from high school. And there were people who said, she made the best pies around, and I loved her baking. Even from her small house and her small area, she had an impact on many around her. Which reminds me of my mother-in-law, who was a seamstress who became a widow too young. And her life, the entire time I knew her, revolved around going to daily mass and sewing. After her husband had died, she became a seamstress. Well, she was a seamstress before then, but she became a seamstress for money. And until right before she died, when she couldn't get to mass, her life was almost monastic in nature, in that she would go to mass, pray with her friends, come home and sew, or go to work and sew. And in the last years of her life, that was her whole world, except for going to the store for groceries, maybe going to a sewing store for supplies, and then seeing her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. And those kids were the light of her life. And one of the things that surprised me, because here's this little lady, when her funeral happened, there were so many people who came and they said, Margaret reached out to us, and she always kept up with the family history, the family trees, and she was someone who always was concerned about us, sent us letters and sent us notes and sent us Christmas cards. She died in February of last year, and something we didn't think about was that there might have been people on her Christmas card list who didn't know that she had died yet. So we sent out cards to her list, and we were surprised by those cards and by what came. This last Christmas, we started to get cards from the people who were on her Christmas card list that she had sent notes to. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling these up, and I'm going to turn this around. And I'm not a videographer, I'm a grandma, to show you the Christmas cards that were sent to us by her friends. And some of them had not heard that she died because they lived in other areas. And she was on their list, but they wrote these beautiful personal notes to her, or if they hadn't gotten our card yet, or else to us, of how much she meant to them. And I'm just utterly amazed that this little lady touched so many lives that they sent these Christmas cards to her after she had already passed. So, what does this mean to us or for us at this time? It means that each one of us can touch and impact lives even if we're sitting in our homes and cannot hug anyone or reach out to them. If we can wave if someone comes to our window, if we're not able to see people personally. I saw my grandma and my mother-in-law reach the whole world around them in that way. And as I look at this, I see Jesus. His arms are outstretched, and I like to think as I see this that of the verse John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And he loves us so much that his arms are outstretched wide. Yes, he suffered on that cross, but he did so for you and for me. And when we have no one else, we can go to him and be welcomed in his embrace. His arms are spread wide to show his love for all of us in the entire world, now and forever. Keep the faith. Use your head. Do the best you can. And I'm going to keep praying the pandemic and praying for those around me. I love you.